Alright, Schlockmeister fans, to finish off the Southern Fried Comedy DVD compilation, we're going to watch Ellie, the only movie on this compilation that I'd actually seen before. Let's check it out. So Sheila Kennedy plays Ellie. Her father recently married Shelley Winters, and Shelley Winters comes with 3 idiot sons who are fascinated with Ellie. She makes her husband make out a will to her.
Being of sound mind, to leave everything I own to my wife, Cora Jackson.
Little does he know that his new wife, Cora, is evil.
Come here to your father. Now, honey, I know that you're not used to having other men around, but it ain't your fault. The weather was so dry.
She wants to kill him. Well, it's not that deep there, so Cora goes out with her chicken leg and sits on him, while her idiot son takes a photograph. And he's dead. Hollywood Squares fans might recognize George Gobel as the preacher.
Accidents are waiting to take us when we least expect.
No! Stop that! What'd she say? It wasn't no accident! They killed him!
No, Ellie, we've been through all that.
They killed my father!
I mean, you wasted time on you.
Cora also has a brother, I believe, who's criminal. And he wants Ellie also.
Muscles in my arms are hard as rocks. You don't feel my muscle?
He's not gonna get it though.
Ow! It's like a field of ripe wheat. A field of ripe wheat? First we're gonna harvest her, and then we're gonna thresh her good.
Dale.
Ellie's gonna decide to take revenge against them.
Just remember, I have to act that way. In the name of justice.
She's gonna use her feminine charms to tease the boys, starting with Billy.
Smile, girl. Smile.
What?
I mean,
The last one.
whenever you mind about the last one, it was more to fix your paw. But since I was there, it's sort of like I helped kill a man.
Yes, Billy, it is.
She's gonna take off all her clothes here. I wish I could show you that, because she is beautiful. Watch your step, Billy. One down. Next up is Frank.
Frank, look at me.
Ma says you're crazy. I ain't supposed to go near you.
Where is your mom?
Well, she'd beat me good if I even talked to you.
She manages to get him up into the hayloft.
Frank.
Yeah?
I was just looking for a needle in the haystack.
Well, she gets him to play bullfighter in his underwear. And before Mama can get out there to help him... That's 2 down.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to pay our last respects to a young man plucked from us in the flower of youth.
Next up is brother Tommy.
Friends.
Friend is man.
Give me another.
You gotta be kidding. He's already had 8.
That ain't none of my business. Swim.
She brings him out to a watering hole for a swim.
Well, you know, we could do the breaststroke right here.
Let's go for a swim. For me.
She wants him to dive in.
Dive?
She set it up to make it look like it's 13 feet deep.
I don't even know
know if I can swim, let alone dive.
But it's not.
Let me see you dive.
That's a bitch.
But he's not as dumb as his brothers.
Yeah, you thought I was dumb like the others, didn't you? You had it all figured, didn't you? I bet that water ain't a foot deep. Thought I'd dive off here and crack my skull and I'd be too drunk to notice it, didn't you think that?
Well, they struggle a bit. He ends up ripping off her dress, and then the chase is on. At one point, she loses her panties on some barbed wire. Hate when that happens. And he corners her up in the loft where she sleeps.
I didn't know, Tom. Honest, I didn't.
Little do either of them know that Ma has put a snake in the bed.
Snake. Tommy. No.
That's what I was afraid of. I don't believe it.
He asked if she had a pet snake.
See?
Billy's pictures are
He was
developed.
sitting on top of Sid in the pond. Then he took a picture of his own ma doing in poor old Sid.
Don't look like that to me.
But shit.
Ma invites Ellie over.
Hello, Ellie, dear. Honey, why don't we just stop all this? Let bygones be bygones.
Look, just show me the stuff that belongs to my papa, and I'll leave.
Well, the plan is to kill her in the attic.
Now, don't make it tough on me, Ellie. My heart can't take the strain.
It's been real long.
She decides to pray before he kills her.
But there is one thing I do regret, and that's having to leave without ever having been touched by a man.
Well, since she's never been touched by a man, Art offers to help her.
Okay, money. You took it out of my house.
But it's too much for his bad heart.
Art, no. No.
What a way to go.
Now Mama's going after Ellie. She's got all the boys killed. Mama's the only one left. But the sheriff shows up. That's Pat Paulson.
You could have just destroyed that picture.
Ellie, I'm surprised you'd think such a thing. It never entered my mind.
Come on, Sheriff, you gonna take all night?
Now the sheriff has had a thing for Ma this whole time.
Oh, I'll see that he gets a real car.
And I might
And a
say,
deal is made to avoid her arrest.
She is going to
Marrying the
start
sheriff.
afresh with another husband.
Just remember who has that picture. So you better make him a real good wife. If you don't want to wind up in jail.
All right, we're going to finish up the Southern Fried Comedy, Sergeant Kabuki Man's Comedy Jam Volume 1 with Ellie. This is the only movie of the three on here that I had actually seen before. In fact, I had a pre-recorded VHS tape of this. I remember I had I remember watching this in the late 80s. I didn't pick up the VHS probably till the late 90s, maybe even the 2000s, I'm not sure. But I remember seeing this on late night cable. This was that kind of film. And I remember thinking, wow, that actress is absolutely beautiful. Found out later on that her name is Sheila Kennedy, and I actually had a Penthouse magazine that I had. Somehow I acquired a Penthouse magazine when I was a little kid, and she was the Penthouse Pet that in that particular issue. So I'd seen all of her already, but you see all of her again in this movie, and she is lovely, that's for sure. We have a Hicksploitation film here. It takes place, I think, in 1963. I think we see that on a gravestone, although it seems later than that, but whatever. Ellie, her father, marries Shelley Winters. Shelley Winters has 3 sons and a convict brother who's out. But Shelley Winters wants to kill Sid, the father, to inherit everything that he has, which isn't a whole hell of a lot, to be honest with you. A barn and a house, who knows, whatever else. But anyway, so she pushes him in his wheelchair into the water and then goes to sit on him and drowns him. So he dies. Ellie thinks it was murder. Of course, she's right. So she decides to take revenge on everybody. So she uses her feminine wares to seduce the 3 boys in the house, the sons, and they're all fascinated with her because she's beautiful. And she kills them one at a time. She gets one of them to fall off a cliff when she strips in front of him as he's taking pictures of her. The other one he gets in a hayloft and makes him charge, and he ends up falling to his death. The third one gets bit by a snake, which was actually put in her loft where she sleeps by Mom. Mom was, after the first 2 were killed, she realized Ellie is doing this, so they try to kill her. Instead, the snake gets the son, so he dies, poisonous snake. And then Art, the 4th one, she just seduces him. He has a bad heart, and she seduces him, and before he's actually able to do anything with her, he has a heart attack and dies. And then Mama is chasing her with a gun, but then the sheriff shows up. Now, the sheriff has had a thing for Mama this whole time, and now that Sid is gone, he wants to marry her too, but turns out he has some photographic evidence that she killed her husband. Well, they decide to bury that evidence in exchange for Mom, Cora, agreeing to marry the sheriff. Although why he would want her at that point, I don't know. But Ellie has the picture at the end of the movie, and she's at the maid of honor and says, you be a good wife to him, otherwise I'm going to share that picture and you're going to be arrested and go to jail forever. So that's how our movie ends. Kind of an odd ending, but whatever, right? So anyway, again, the only reason this movie exists is to see some titillation from Sheila Kennedy. And she is a beautiful actress, although there's not a ton of nudity in this movie. She has a full frontal nude scene with one of the brothers, and there's a couple of boob shots very briefly a couple times too, and that's about it. There's not a whole hell of a lot of nudity in this movie, but whatever. She's a doll to look at, I'll tell you that. So anyway, I believe it is available on a standalone DVD from Troma. It's been out of print for a long time and very expensive, like $60-$70 if you want it, maybe even more. You're better off getting the Southern Fried Comedy DVD compilation, which, as I speak, is available on Amazon for about $25. So you can't go wrong there. Actually, all 3 of these movies are halfway decent. So there you go. Anyway, check it out. Let me know what you think about it. It is Ellie. Anybody else watch this movie besides me? You should. Check it out. And I also got to give a shout out to the soundtrack. I'm not a big country music fan by any means, but in 2 of these movies, Preacher Man and Ellie, the soundtracks were really good. And in some cases, they mirror what's happening on screen at the time. You know, Ellie may and Ellie may not. Clever. Check it out. Leave some comments. Bye.